And now we're going to create the geometry that goes here, that's welded on. So let me turn my planes back on, and I'm just going to use this front plane again. Do an extrude, select this front plane, get into a sketch view, should be in this orientation. And what I'm going to do is I've noticed that before I can do it, this number is not set. I forgot to set that number. Let me just get out of here. Get out of here, and let me fix this. This arc is supposed to be over here somewhere. It's not. Let me get a definition on that. Okay, so what's driving this? Well, probably, can't see any dimension it's driving in. From there to the center. And it's saying that something, oh, look at this one. You see this one right here? I didn't notice that one being created. And that's lining up to the center here. That is one I did not want. I didn't even see it, and that's what I mean. Be careful about these sort of constraints automatically happening and you're not catching them. I didn't catch this one. I should have, because I should know there's a dimension supposed to be here, because I've done this a few times. But I didn't even notice this dimension was missing, because it automatically, Creo did this on its own. It snapped there. So I need to pick on it. I'll select it and delete it. And now I have a dimension up here. So you got to be careful. That's what I was talking about earlier, being careful. This should be 0.5 also, I guess. Way over here somewhere. Yeah. I'm also going to change this perimeter a little bit. This doesn't need to be sticking out there. So I'm going to modify this a little bit. Right in there somewhere. It looks about right there. So maybe 9.5. 9.5, nice even number. Should be just a little bit beyond this. Select OK. Check. And now we have it where we want. Yes is where we want it. Yeah, that's one of those things you gotta watch for, those constraints being on there. They'll drive you nuts trying to find them. So the next thing I'm going to do, let's say what I got. And the next thing I'm going to do is that extrude again. Let's just repeat what we just did. Placement, front plane, sketch view. And I'm ready to go. Let me turn these planes off. Let me get out of the shaded mode and get into the hidden, the hidden line mode. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this arc here, the one we used to create this bend. That's a nice stable reference instead of the spinal bend itself. I think I'm going to select this arc here. So I'll go to project and pick that arc. And now I'm going to draw a line down, but like that, and one over here. And then I want to use this inside diameter of this arc as a radius, as a constraint. So let's do that. Go to our references and select this part here, this feature here. Close it up. Let's create an arc, center and ends from the center here. Now I can line up to that constraint over to there and there. And now I'm going to do a fillet, and I'm going to do a circular trim and pick here and here and here and here, and I'm going to make these radius equal, this radius and this one. And our print shows that that should be 0.015. 0.015. Let's do another corner trim here and here, here and here. And I've got two dimensions. I only want one. So what's missing is it's symmetric about the center. So I'm going to do a construction center line on that reference. And now I'm going to go to symmetry, pick the center line and the center of my arcs. That arc and that arc. And now I have symmetry and one dimension left, and this should be, the width of that is 0.4. A little bit close. Select OK. And I have it not symmetric. It's all coming out one side. I want that to be symmetric. So let's go to Options, change it to Symmetric. And the width of that thing is, from the print, 7 56, but I'm just going to make it 0.75 because I want the other piece to be a little bit to the 756, and I want to create a gap. So I'm going to make this 0.75. Select OK. And let's take a look what we got. Now I know that this piece probably doesn't flex and curve like that. That's okay. As you get the clamp smaller, this probably does not. This probably just buries itself into the hose. But we're just modeling, like I said, a good representation of a clamp. And it's flexible. Next I need to create some pieces here. It's a little bit of a pain, but default view. So I'm going to need a sketch plane. I don't have any sketch plane here I could use. I could probably create one offset from this and do a calculation where this is, or I can create a plane that goes through this surface here, or tangent to that surface, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to create a plane, and I'm going to put it on this surface. If you can't select the surface, you can select over here and pick surface, but if you zoom in, the tighter you zoom, the easier it is to pick a surface. So I'm going to get that surface there. And it's saying through it. I don't want it through it. I want a tangent. So I'm going to select tangent like that. And I want it also to be parallel to this plane down here. So I'm going to hold the control key down and select this guy. By default, Creo has thought that I want this to be normal, but I don't. I want that to be parallel. So now I have my sketch plane that's tangent to that surface. And that plane is selected now. So if I just do an extrude, it'll automatically select that plane for me. And then I'm just going to go to my references. I'm going to turn off my planes. And I'm going to just pick these surfaces for references. That surface, that one. And then I'm going to do a rectangle. From here to there. And from here to there. And I'm going to snap it to equal length. You see where it's snapping to equal? That length there? I'm going to lock that in. I want them to both be the same. So I only want one dimension driving this. I would normally put a dimension between here and here and say, tell me what the gap is, so the gap is constant. But I don't like using dimension reference from a spinal bend. They just seem to be unstable to me. I'm going to make this a nice 0.05. So that's all I'm going to need for that. And if you look at it, it's going the wrong way. It's going up. I want it to go down. I accidentally hit enter. So that's what it would do if I just created it like that. It created it on that plane that's tangent to that surface. It's going in the wrong direction. So let me redefine this. Click on this arrow to point it down. And I just want it to go up to the next feature. So I'm just selecting here and this one right here. It says extrude up to the next surface. So if I click that, it will just go up to the next surface and finish. So now I have that. And now I need those posts to come up through here. This is where my housing is going to rest on, but then there's those posts that get crimped over. We got to draw that. It's going to create two more features, but you don't have to put all this detail in if you don't want to, but I'm going to. So I'm going to do another extrude, and for my sketch plane, I'm going to select this surface right there. And again, with the references, I don't think I'm going to need that one. That's good. I'm doing that long piece. I think I've got enough references for that. Oh, I missed one. Missed a reference. That one there. Sketch view. And now there's a couple pieces here that's same height as what we just did. But our posts actually go in the corner of those. So let's just draw a rectangle for those. And let's line things up. Let's get alignment. This line here, I want to line up with this line here. And this line here, I want to line up with this line here. There we go. And then I want symmetry. So I'm going to put a center line right down the middle. And then for symmetry, I'm going to go symmetric, center line, this point, and this point. Now I only have one dimension, and from the print, that's 0.75. If we take a look, it's going the wrong way. We need it to go down, so let's click the arrow down. And it goes down 0.072. 0.072. So that's what it looks like. Now we have a couple more features to go. We have the posts that come up. They actually come up off the ends of this. Comes up, and then there's a crimp part. I'm going to model all that stuff up. So again, with the extrude, this surface, sketch. And for references, probably all we need. Sketch view, rectangle again. Okay, I'm gonna lock that length on. So right click, got that length equal. Do the same for this one. Actually, I'm gonna lock that alignment up. That's fine. This one. There. It's all aligned. They have a line, a line. So everything's lined up. Only one dimension should be driving all four, and that's what I've got. And that dimension is 0.155, something like that. And that one goes up. That one's going in the right direction. So that needs to go up 0.053. Select OK. That's what we got so far, and then one final piece is the crimp over. So I'm going to do extrude again, select this surface, sketch. I'm not even going to put it in a sketch orientation. I'm going to leave it like this, because I'm just going to be using the edges of three of those edges for each of those protrusions. So 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, 3. I might have did 2 here. Let's delete 1. Yep, I did 2 there. Be careful. Sketch view. And let's create a line. We can line them up. It doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter if you line them up or not. We're going to corner trim them out anyway. And let's go to our corner trim. Let's make them all equal. This line is equal to this line, is equal to this line, and this line. And here I put another constraint. I'm going to delete that one. I like the L ones. I like the lengths better. And that dimension from the print is 0.083. There we go. And it's going up. And it's going to go from the print 0.031. There we go. Let's get into the shade. And that's what we've created. And then there's a round on these. So let's put that feature on. So round there, control key down here, control key here, and control key here. And that round is going to be 0.015. 0.015. So there's our finished clamp, it's a band rather. So we've completed that. We're going to be setting up relations to get this thing to work properly, but basically it's done. Okay, so now let's model up that housing. So we're going to have to go grab some dimensions. So let's go back to our drawing, our source drawing. And let's go grab some dimensions from that housing. These two views need to have hidden lines. So I'm going to select both of those views, right click and go to properties. And you can only get view display when you got more than one view selected. So I'm going to do hidden line. And I've got no tangent displayed. And that can be changed. That's a config option, how I bring my views by default come in with no hidden, no tangent. You could change that. But anyway, let's grab our dimensions that we need. So annotate dimension. I need this one, this inside, this one, this one. Already got the thickness. Some overall. Let's see the inside. This is the one I'm going to make 756. So those, I need an overall length. And on the inside, I need to know how big this is. Yep. So that's that pocket on the inside. That's what this hidden line stuff is. That's all hidden line there. That's that pocket. So cancel out that. Right click and go to properties and make them 3 places again. So I have these all at the 3 places. That's fine. Okay, let's go model our housing. Save what I got. Close this and let's create a housing. So new, and I'm going to call it housing. Let's turn our planes on. And the first thing we're going to do is create the extrude. I'm going to pick the front plane, go to sketch view, turn my planes off, and I'm going to put the arcs on the center. I'm going to put the center of the arcs on the center of this our datum, our reference planes. So arc with center here, just draw one arc and then adjust it so that they all come in the right size, because this has got to go down to a, this will be the outside, so it's 0.243. So let's put 2.243, and now everything's in the right scale. Now we can put our rest of our arcs in there, which is only one more actually here to here. And that arc is 0.093. Let's put that 0.093. It's 75. I don't know what, something like that. And now let's just draw our shape. Before we start drawing our shape, I want symmetry. So whatever I draw over here, I want to be symmetric over here. So before I start, I want to just create a center line and put it right on that vertical reference. So I have a center line right there. Now I can draw my shape. Goes down a little bit, goes over a little bit. Don't let it snap to stuff that you don't want it to. Like when I'm going, only thing I want is vertical. I don't want it to L. I don't want that L there. And you just draw the general shape. It doesn't have to be accurate, because we're going to fix the dimensions. So out to there, it comes back up to here with the vertical, over to here, and it lines up to there actually. So I'm going to let that go, and then goes up and picks up there. And then I'm going to do a circular trim again, and pick here and here. And now I'm going to mirror this stuff. So I'm just going to select it all and hit mirror. That center line. And now I can put the real dimensions in. So the width here I need. And that's 0.756. And then I need the outside. And that's 0.9. And I believe I've got a dimension from here to here at 0.155. This thickness, I believe that's 0.053. And the radius here is 0.6, so let's just click on that and make that 0.06. And from here to here, that turned out to be 0.072. And we'll put the rounds in later, so let's do it like that. There's our shape. We want symmetry, so let's go to Options, make it symmetric, and it is 1 inch. So there's our part. And let's go ahead and get the inside cut. So the inside cut is going to be from the same sketch plane. So we'll do an extrude, remove material, and it was symmetric, and it is 0.86. And now we go to placement, define, use previous, sketch view, and we're going to draw an arc. There, over to there, and a line goes something like that. And then we're going to need to align that up, so make this coincident to this. And this dimension is 0.171, and we're good to go. Let's shade that so we can see what we just did. We just created that pocket in there for the screw. Alright, now let's get our rounds in there. First ones we're going to put on these corners and this one here. And those rounds were from the drawing, and let's see, I forgot to get that one, I think. Take a look at that source drawing again. Yeah, I forgot that one. Let's go put a annotate dimension, that arc. And 3 places. That's actually that's 0.03. So save what we got, close it. Now let's put our rounds on there. So a round in the corners first. And this. And this one. Using the control key to pick these. That's 0.03. And then one more round, same size. Just goes all the way around. So there's our part. Save it. And now let's go get our screw. So this part has been saved. So let's close this and create a new part. We'll call that the screw. And let's turn our planes back on, and we're going to draw our screw. Before we do that, we're going to have to go grab some dimensions. Let's go back to our drawing, and let's go to sheet 1, which has our screw on it. Okay, so we're going to need some overalls, so let's put some annotate, dimension. I need to know what it is from here all the way to the end. Need that one. From here to the start of the threads. Can't find a place to pick. There it is. 0.07, and then from here to here. That happens to be the same size as our housing. And let's get some diameters. Diameter, and here's a diameter, and this diameter and this diameter are the same. We're also going to need this diameter, but it's not going to let me select it because it's a helical sweep in an import feature, so it won't let me select those. We'll have to go sketch something in here in a sketch and retrieve that information. That's a tricky part, and we'll go over that. So we'll need to know this chamfer dimension here, and it's 45, I'm sure. So we have that. Let's get some other dimensions here. How about this radius? How about this angle? 10 degrees. And let's get the length of this. Overall length, how about from here to there? And how about the head? From here to here. And this is the slot for the screwdriver rather. Let's grab that, depth. 0.07. I believe this outside diameter here is going to be not obtainable through the drawing. Let's try it. Let's just see what we get. I can pick this line and that line. Yeah, that works. So we can get that one too. We just can't select any of these pieces. It's not letting us get a good dimension here. Oh yeah, there you go. Got that, but that's not what we want. No, we're gonna have to create a sketch here. So 3 places, so right click properties and let's put 3. And let's get rid of this one. Okay, let's go to the front view and try to get this this pitch. The pitch is actually going to be driven by the band. With the spacing on the band is going to be the same as the pitch on our screw. So we'll have to get those, retrieve those in another way. Let's go ahead and get the rest of this stuff. Let's put a dimension from here to here, and that's a hex dimension. And our slot width. And now we're just ready to do our cut, our helical sweep cut. Let's put those at 3 places also. Now to find these cuts, these real dimensions here, we'll have to sketch something up. So let's go to our part. Let's go on this plane right here. That's our front plane. And that was our first view, is the front view. So let's sketch there. I probably can't reference too much, so I'm going to have to eyeball it. So let's do hidden line. Now let's see what I could select for references. I think this guy and this guy won't let me select anything else that's important. I can't select these arcs, that depth. Okay, so we'll just have to draw in our numbers. So let's draw a line. I'm going to put it from here, and I'm going to eyeball it down here, same angle about. Doesn't have to be perfect, and then over here, and then back up here, and back over, and from here to there. And that's actually the pitch. So we're going to have a dimension from there to there is going to be our pitch. That's going to be our pitch dimension. I'll put that as a reference dimension. And then we're going to have another dimension here. Let's put that as reference also. 0.07, its depth 0.03. Maybe 0.035, 0.035. Did that pull it down too much? No. And the bottom, we won't put an angle, we'll put a dimension here. That's a little wide, 0.028. A little bit better. So let's start with that. So we're going to have a 0.07. And we can either do an angle here, or we can do this dimension. Maybe the angle's better. Let's try putting an angle. Let's delete this one. We don't need that one. Let's put an angle dimension on there. Let's put from here to here. I think that should be something, yeah, 60 degrees. That's better. So we have a 0.07, 60 degrees by, how deep is this thing? 0.34, what is this dimension here? 0.035, check that. And now when we go back to our drawing, we just show dimensions. Okay. Oh, select them all. Select OK. And there's our dimensions. So let's make these 4 places, or 3 places rather. We don't care about that one, just wanted the angle. So 70 by 60, 35 deep with a pitch of 0.9. That looks like about right. So now we're ready to create our screw. We got all the dimensions we need. Let's save it, and let's create our screw. So the first thing I'll do is the revolve. I'll revolve on the front plane again. And let's turn this stuff off. Okay. First thing, when you do a revolve, first thing you should do is put an axis of revolution in there. I always do. So the center line here, horizontal. Okay, so it's going to revolve around that. So we sketch on one side of that. So let's put a shape in there. I'm just going to draw a rectangle just to get it to scale right. So our diameter of that screw head was, did I get that one? I missed that diameter. So I'm going to leave that alone. I missed the diameter. Let's go back to our drawing and grab it. This diameter. One click, control the two. Wait, it's the diameter dimension. One click and then right click and diameter. A little bit different in 3. So it's the diameter is 0.039. I mean 0.39. Let's go to properties. And let's make that. And it's 0.39 is good. 39 is good. So let's save that and let's make ours. Let's go back into our sketch. So this was 0.39, and this number from the print is 0.25. And now that we got it scaled right, we could start putting some detail in there. So I need a line from here over to here, and a corner. This piece, this piece, this piece, and that piece. And this dimension was 0.05. And I lost my overall, so let's put that back. Dimension from there to there. 0.25. And the angle from here to there was 10 degrees. Just like that. And there was a round here, so let's go ahead and put that in there. Probably going to lose this 25 again, but what the heck. So we're going to do that circular trim again. Oh, I didn't lose it. Good. And let's put a dimension on that. From the print, 0.025. And let's just leave that as a separate. So that's what we've done so far. Just drew that piece. Let's go ahead and get our hex on there. So this time I'm going to extrude off of this surface here. And I'm going to go, the head thickness is 0.188, or the head height. And I'm going to go placement. I could just select the surface, sketch view. And I don't need this plane, so let's delete that. It's automatically deleted, I believe, if you don't use them, so don't have to worry about deleting them. So we got our circle there. That's all you need. Well, let's go into a no hidden, and let's get rid of these planes. Now I'm going to draw a circle from the center, so let's snap into the center. Out to there somewhere, eyeball it, and then a line. Let's put some center lines in here. A vertical and a horizontal center line. And now let's create some geometry. That intersection there, over to there. Probably didn't need that vertical center line. Not hurting anything. And then let's make these segments equal these three. This one, and this one. And they're all equal now. And instead of a diameter dimension, I'm going to put a dimension of the hex. And that dimension was 0.3125, 5/16, I think. And last thing, this has to be construction. So So that's what we have. And I'm going to add a feature to it after we put the slot in. The slot on this one is going from edge to edge. So it's going to go on that surface. So let's go ahead and extrude, remove material, and the slot depth is 0.07. Placement is going to be on the front here. Sketch. Just like that. Now all we need for references is this point here. Let me get it into this point there and this point here. That's all we need for references. Okay, so let's close that up. We don't even need this plane if we don't want it. And now we could draw a center line, construction center line from those 2 points, like that. So it's going through those 2 points. Now let's just draw a big rectangle here, from out here somewhere over here, and then lock symmetry. Right click and lock symmetry, and pick past there. I like pick and pass. I don't like to try to do it by manually doing it. I just force it. Just say align this with that point, align this with that point, and the only dimension I have left is its width, and that's 0.0625. So that's what we have so far. And I'm going to add another feature that's not really on there, or it might be on there, but I didn't measure it. Take a quick look. I'm not sure if it's on there or not. Yeah, it is on there. I'm going to put this feature in here. Right there, that feature. Just rounding the ends off. And this one's tangent. I'm not going to make mine tangent. I'm going to make mine a little bit smaller. Anyway, let's create that feature. And I'm going to create it off the same plane that I just... well, let me get the planes back on. The front plane, the same plane that I did the rest of the stuff in. I'm going to do it on that plane. So it's going to be a revolve, and I had that plane selected, so it's on the front plane. And then I'm going to use project here and pick this, and then go to the corner and trim those out. Create a line from here over to here somewhere. Don't let it snap to middle. And corner these out. Now this is a revolve. The first thing I should have did was put this center line in. I forgot. So it's going to rotate about that. That puts these diameter dimensions on for me. Now I'm going to control this with a relation. So the next dimension is here to here, and that's going to be 30 degrees standard. It's a standard cut. So that's going to be our feature there. And it looks like I'm creating a feature. I want to remove material, so I got to select remove material. Select OK. And that's what I get. And I'm going to make this just a little bit smaller than the diameter, than the hex size. So I'm going to set a relation up for that. I'm going to go to relations, and I'm going to select this feature I just created, and I'm going to select its diameter. It's out here somewhere. And I'm going to space equal, and then I'm going to select this hex. And there's the hex diameter. And I like naming, whenever I use stuff in relations, I like naming the dimensions. So I'm going to go name this dimension of that hex that I just did. So I'm going to edit that. That's the slot I just did. There's the hex. And this is going to be called hex, that dimension there. So go to properties, and instead of D9, let's call that hex. I like using lowercase for my dimensions. Uppercase for parameters. So in my relations, I like the parameters to be uppercase and dimensions to be lowercase, so I can immediately know what they are. Program screws that up for you if you ever use that, but we're not going to be using that. So I got that, and then this dimension up here for this cut here, this dimension I'm going to call the relief, maybe properties, or angle. Do that. And your relations will pick that up. If you go back to relations, angle equals hex. And then if you want to see where those dimensions are at, like if you're in the relation, just highlight the dimension, like like that and go here and click on dimension, display the specific dimension. It'll show you which one it is. And then it clicks that one and there's your angle dimension right there. So you know what you're talking about. And if I clicked on hex, highlight hex, show me, and it shows you the hex dimension. Okay, let's continue on. We're going to use the previous plane for sketching, the front plane again, but that's the one we just used to create that cut. So let's create the bottom part of this piece. Let's save what we got and do a revolve and use previous. So now let's do the back part of this. Center line first. And we're going to have a line that's going to come from here up to here, over to here. We put this out of scale if you want to. It doesn't matter. We're just roughing this in. Don't let it snap to any of these things. It tries to snap, don't let it snap. Just pull it until it doesn't. And come down and over. Don't let it snap to any of that stuff. There's a little angle down, and let's close it up. So we have a closed section now. And let's do, this is aligned with that. So let's do a line, this with that. Okay, we have our overall here. Let's go ahead and put this angle in here. This is 45. And then it's depth here from that point to that point. And that is 0.04. And a dimension from here to here is known. That's 0.856. And this one is known. It's 0.072. And the overall is known. So the overall is 1.094. And this diameter from the print, 0.31. I bet it's 0.3125. It's a 5/16 thread. So let's put it at nominal. And this diameter here from the print was 0.1875. I'm going forward to places just to put it on the fraction. That's a fraction. And I believe we have everything we need to create that. So let's. One more thing I think I'm going to put on. I'm going to put some chamfer on here. A relief here for our, when we make our helical cut. So let's do that now. I'll just go ahead, and this is, you can't really see it on the part, but I'm going to do it something like that. Same thing over here. And I'm going to go remove segment and remove this piece and this piece and this piece and that piece. And let's put a dimension from here to there. Oops, don't want that one. Let's pick it and get rid of it. Let's zoom in a little bit closer this time. From here to here, and then make sure you pick in the middle. Let's make that 30. And let's not use a diameter dimension for this. Let's use a dimension from here to here. That's 0.02 is fine. And then what I'm going to do is draw a construction line here. I'm going to draw a line from this point to this point. Right there. I'll do that just so I can make these equal by making this horizontal. It's not horizontal now, but if I put a horizontal on it here, now it makes them equal. I don't have any more dimension to put on there. Of course, that's got to be construction. And I'm going to need this angle. So a dimension from here to here again, and that's going to be 30. And I don't think we lost anything. Uh-oh, something got lined up. If you end up with zeros, like there's a zero, something got on a line there. Something, I lost my alignment, so I'm going to try to grab something and pull it. And it looks like I've lost my center. My center line has lost its reference, so I'm going to line that back up. So alignment, this to there. And of course, I just screwed up all my dimensions. But I don't know how I lost that alignment, to tell the truth. So let's put those numbers back in again, 0.1875. Or you know what, I could just undo. Let me just undo. We don't want to put all those dimensions back in again. Undo. There we are, back to home, except for now. This is where we were before I found out. I just dragged it and I undid. Now I know what's wrong with it. I could just go ahead and line it up. So I'll pick the center line, and then I'll go here and then right click, and that's the reference. So now they're aligned, my 0 went away, and I'm only left with this weak 31. Let's make it a strong 31. Oh, 0.3125, that's what it's supposed to be. And that's all we need there. So there's our screw without the thread, and you could probably stop here if you didn't want to put this much detail in it. But we're gonna completely detail it. You could detail it as much as you want. So now I'm going to put a helical sweep in there to cut those threads. So helical sweep is right here. And for reference, it's going to need to know its path and what it's going to revolve around. So helical sweep profile, I'm going to define that. I'm going to use the previous sketch plane, the front plane again. And that helical sweep is going to revolve around a center line. So let's put that center line in there. And then I'm going to need a couple of references. It's going to go from the reference that's here and the reference here, all the way back to sketch view. And then I'm going to draw a line from that reference to that reference, and I'm going to line it up to here, just to get rid of that dimension. And I need to start it there anyway. So that's all we need for the profile. It's just asking you which way, what's it going to follow and what's it going to revolve around. It's going to revolve around this and follow this line. And it's going to follow it. I want to follow it from here, where the start point is here. If you don't like that start point, you can pick over at the other end, I believe, and right click. And, oh, maybe you got to pick on it. I'm going to pick on it and then right click and start point. If you want the start point over there, I don't. If yours happens to be here, all you have to do is pick the point and then right click, and it'll say start. Well, the start point's already there, so it's not going to say that, but it will be an option there to get the start point over here. So that's where it's going to be, and the next thing Creo does when you say OK for this, the profile, it's going to take you into the sketch. It's going to actually light this up. If you don't have a center line or this line drawn already, it won't light this sketch up, and you won't be able to do a section. So I'm going to go to a default. I don't know why it does that. Creo's always done that. Just flips it a weird way. But the two white lines is where you want to start from. That's the start of our line that we just created. So that start point is on that line. The line that we drew is right here, but this is what it's going to reference, and the start point is this line. So let's draw our shape, which is here, 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 and here. So there's our shape. I want some symmetry on that, so I'm going to draw a construction center line in the middle, lock that, middle, and horizontal. So now this is symmetric. These 2 points are symmetric, but these two are not. So let's do symmetry. Center line in this point and this point. And now we have symmetry there. And I got that pretty much on the money at 0.07. And its depth was 0.035. And we had an angle. So put a dimension here to here. And that was 60. So that should be our thread cut, and our pitch. Let's put our pitch the same as our wire, which was 1.5 or 0.15, I believe. So we're going to put the pitch at 0.15. That was our spacing of our clamp. And as you can see, it's trying to add material. We don't want to add material. We want to remove it. So let's select remove material. And now we have our preview, and it looks good. It looks like our pitch is wrong. Maybe it's 0.015, 15 thousandths. We'll have to check that. Let's go check our pitch of our. That's what we got so far. Let's leave that alone. That's what we got so far. We can tell something's not quite right. Now you see why I put that taper in. See how it transitions here with that taper? It would have looked funny if I didn't put that taper in there. That 30 degrees. That would look kind of funny. Let's go find out what our pitch is. Maybe I've got something wrong with my pitch. Let's go open the band. So open the band, or the clamp rather, that's got the band in it. And let's do this pattern, see what our pitch is. Our pitch is really, oh, it's 0.1. Oh. Okay, pitch is 0.1. Let's go to our helical sweep and edit definition. You don't have to edit definition. I could do it. You don't have to. Just do show dimensions here, and it will give you a pitch right there. And let's make that 0.1 and regenerate that thing. Close enough for our needs right there. I think we're finished with the screw. So let's save that. And back to the band again. I want to go back to this band here. And I believe that if I go to my relations, this D28, I don't know what that means. Remember we were naming dimensions? That's why I forgot to name those dimensions. And when I open it back up, I want to be able to look at the relations, because when we get done with this, there's going to be a lot of relations there. So it's a very good idea to name your dimensions. So I am going to name this dimension here. I'm going to call this thick dimension thick. Creo puts thick but automatically on thicknesses. So I'm going to go to properties, and I'm going to call this maybe band THK. That's how thick the band is going to be. And then the length is this one here. I'm just going to call this one length. So properties, I'm going to call that length. Okay. And there's another relation I want to set up. I want to have the band thickness actually drive this diameter in this sketch right here. This 30, I want that to be equal to the band thickness. Okay. So let's name that dimension. Let's go here and name this one. And let's go to properties. And we call that the band sketch THK. Band sketch, that's from the sketcher. And now we can set up, and then this perimeter dimension, Creo puts the word PERIM after all perimeters, so let's name ours perimeter. Okay, and if you switch symbols, I'm going to switch symbols here, switch dimensions, and it turns a symbol, and I can see perimeter, perim, band, thickness. Okay, we can see that we got them in there. So let's switch them back. And now let's go to relations and set up some relations. So you see the relations picked up the naming that we changed things to, so the length is equal to perimeter. That makes more sense than D1 equals D2, whatever that was. So let's put another one in there, and that's this dimension here, this diameter dimension, the band sketch thickness, should be equal to the band thickness. So let me get that one. Band thickness. Right there. And they were already equal, so it's probably not going to do anything, and it doesn't. And let's save what we got. And now we're ready to import our two components. Now you can make an assembly out of this, or you can make it one part. I'm going to do it as one part. Easier to do the relations to get things to work better with that screw. If you don't need that screw to rotate like it is in a demo, that's fine. You can make it an assembly, or you can also do it with an assembly. It's just a little bit trickier if I do it in assembly to get that screw to turn. It's super easy to do it if I do it at the part level, so I'm gonna stick with that route. If you don't, like I said, if you don't need it, the screw to turn, you're not going to put that much detail into it. You can make it an assembly or a part. So I'm going to go grab those pieces and put them in my model here. Let's turn on our datum planes. And what we're going to do is we're going to import those. We're going to go get data, and we're going to do a merge inheritance. One of these. And we're going to select, it says select a part, open a model. just going to copy the geometry from the housing. And to constrain it, Creo likes to put this window right here, and it's covering up this window. Don't know why they do that. That's very annoying. Anyhow, I'm going to orient this the way I want it to go on there so I can visualize where it's going to go. And the first thing I'm going to pick is the bottom here, this bottom surface there. I want that to sit on this surface right here. And I want this plane, so new constraint, this plane to be lined up with the front plane, lining up with that one, the right plane there. Coincident. And the last constraint is this guy here, this horizontal, the right. I want that to line up with this guy here, that part that's in the middle there. And it says invalid, so I'm going to flip this one. The plane color is in the wrong direction. So if I flip it, and if you do preview, you can see if you got it in there right. There's preview. And that's what I want to do. So hit the check mark, and now we have that component in there. And it's an external merge. Now the other one, when you get data that's merge or inheritance, if you select inheritance, and that can be done, it allows you to modify the dimensions and change them from the base model. If I want to open the base, it's right here, open base model. These dimensions will never change from the other part, from the part level, unless I change that, change what it is. Instead of a merge, make it inheritance. Then I could change the dimensions here without affecting this part. But we're not going to do that. We're going to stick with merge. But to show you how to do that, you just go to Edit Definition, and it's right here. There's a toggle for it. Toggle in here. If I turn this on, that will give me actually a feature list here. Right now, if you look, I don't have a feature list. You can't expand this like I can here. It doesn't expand. But if I said inheritance, then it would expand, and you could edit the dimensions independently. Right now, if I can't edit anything. There's nothing to edit if I hit dimensions, because it's a merge. But if it was an inheritance and I did edit, it would light up all the dimensions for that part and make them independent from the source. And I'm going to name this, I'm going to call this the housing, just so I see it in the tree what it is. And then let's put our screw in there. So assemble the screw by get data, merge inheritance, and grab the part. The screw, once again, hidden. So let's put this diameter here on this diameter here, and let's make this surface here line up with the inside of that. And that's all we need for now. So right now the model is just about ready to use as it is, but we're gonna add some features and tweak it, and we're going to also create some relations so that if we want to create a new band, a new clamp size, that it would be easy to do. We're going to create some relations that will initialize, it'll sense when you change this clamp max min. We're going to create a feature called max min, which is going to control it. We're also going to create another feature called the hose diameter. And the reason why we're going to do that, if somebody edits in the next higher level, we're going to make hose diameter just a sketch basically. And if somebody, that's what's going to be flexible. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to check, and if somebody puts that number outside of the range of the clamp, I'm going to reset it. I can't make it the dimension directly, because every time you change a dimension, Creo 3 regenerates the thing automatically. So it will fail. So I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to make the circle, the sketch control the inside diameter of the band. So if I create a sketch on the front plane, it doesn't even have to be on the front plane if you don't want it, but I'm going to make this one control the band size. So this one's going to control the band size, but I'm going to check to make sure that this is in the range. I'm going to set some relations. If it's not in the range, it'll just reset it to max or something. Like right now it's out of range, so I want to set up some relations. This is what's going to drive it. If this is okay, I'm going to check to make sure it's in the range. If it is in the range, this diameter is going to set this diameter. If it's in the range. If not, it will ignore it. So let's go ahead and set that up. So I'm going to go to my relations, go to the next line here. I'm going to put a space there, a line feed there, and I'm going to select this dimension here. And this is my dimension that it's going to be used to control my clamp diameter, my hose diameter. I'm going to rename that. Let's go back out of here. Let's cancel out of this. I also want to create another curve. I'm going to name this first. Let's just rename this. This is going to be my flexible diameter. So this one I'm going to make hose diameter, the name. Call this hose diameter, DIA. And I'm going to call it that too. This is going to be the flexible diameter. I move my hand. Flex underscore DIA. And actually that's going to be before this stuff here. What about it? I gotta regenerate. Now I can move it. So I put the flex diameter here. This is going to be my geometry driver. So it makes it clear what things do. And the next one, I'm going to draw another curve, sketch another curve on the front plane again, sketch it. And I'm going to put the max min. So I'm going to draw another circle to represent the minimum and another circle to represent the maximum. And then I'm going to edit that. I'm going to call this one the min. Call this one min. I'm going to go ahead and set that to the minimum, which is 1.75. Okay. And this one, properties, and I'll call this the max. And it's going to be set at 2.625, because that's what the maximum is at bar. So there they are. Right now they happen to line up because that's where our clamp is. I forgot to name this the screw, so let me go ahead and then let's put this as max min. That way you know what it is. Let's put that one of the first features. First feature. Okay. So now I'm going to set some relations. Now this is going to be the dimension that flexes, and it's going to be driving this one if it's okay. If it's in this range of max min, it'll be okay. So let's go ahead and set up those relations. Back to here again. And I'm going to select this dimension here. And before it, I'm going to type the word if, space, if the hose diameter is greater than max. Then I'm going to set the hose diameter to be equal to the max. And if. I'm going to do the same thing for the minimum. If the hose diameter is less than the min, then the hose diameter must equal the min. And if. So what that's going to do, if this is outside the range, it's going to snap it to whichever side it's outside of. If it's outside of max, it'll snap it to max. If it's outside of min, if it's smaller than min, it'll snap it to min. So let's see what that does. Let's regenerate. And there it has snapped it. So if I go to my flex dimension, you'll see that it is 2 5/8. If I tried to make it too small, like 0, I don't think it will take a 0. Let's make it 1. You see it snapped to 1 and then it popped it to the min. It went to 0, it went to 1. I'll try 2, maybe you can see that better. Well, 2 is inside the range. 2 is okay. It's inside there, so 2 is going to 2. I meant to do 0.2. So 0.2. You can see it shrink and then pop back out to 1.75. So let's put it at 2.625. Let's put it, if I want to get it back to home, I just have to put 100 in there, I guess, or 1,000. And it pops it to 2.625. Regenerate. And now our clamp is ready to be used. So we need to get this flexible diameter set for flexibility. So let's go to our properties, which again is in File, Prepare Properties, and flexibility is right here. It's not defined yet, so let's change that. And let's go grab our flexible diameter. Now I'm going to select this dimension and hit the plus. So hose diameter is now the flexible dimension. Now I want that hose diameter flexible dimension to drive this. So if everything is going to be okay, if I go back to the relations, if it makes it past here, it's going to be in the range, no matter what. If it makes it past here, it's going to be in the range. It'll be a valid diameter. So I'm going to set my geometry driver to that. Here's my geometry driver. And this dimension I didn't name yet. I did name band thickness. I didn't name this diameter. So I'm going to pick that. I'm going to say that now equals the hose diameter, because it's valid. If it passes these tests, it'll make them correct. It'll correct anything that's wrong and make it where it's a legitimate value. This keeps the band from failing when somebody tries to put it outside of its range. So I'm going to set those two equal, and I think I'm going to give that one a name. Let's go here, edit. Let's give this guy a name, and that's the geometry diameter. Geometry ID. Inside diameter. Okay, so when we go back to our relations, there it is. Geometry ID equals hose diameter. So if I change this flex diameter again, pick it, make it a legitimate number. Oops, let's regenerate. Repaint. Okay, there's the flexible one. I'm going to make it properties. I'm going to put it in a value that's, let's make that 2. And it allows the clamp to go to that size. So when I regenerate, no failures. Let's check for geometry problems. Oh, it's got geometry problems, so we got to fix that. We're going to check for geometry problems all the time. So let's see what this one is saying. It's on the inside. Something to do with the screws touching something. Yeah, we'll have to go take a closer look. Right now we got some dimension wrong. So if we do, let's do a cross section. So let's pick our front plane. And let's go to View and Section. And say OK. And let's take a look and see what's touching. Something, yeah. Here's your geometry check errors. I bet you, well, let's just take a look. Something's happening right there. See, when you intersect such small little features, it's going to give you a geometry. I'm pretty sure that's where it's coming from. So item here, yeah, there it is. And the other one? Where's the other one? Creates tiny edges, yeah. So to fix that, if this is as far as you're going to take it, you could fix that by just making, actually just pulling this down a little bit or raising the screw up a little bit. Actually, there's nothing wrong with that. So if I made the screw, to get rid of the geometry, let's go ahead and get rid of the geometry check. I'll select this screw and I'm going to I'll open the base model and I'm going to fix that diameter. So let's just make that diameter smaller. I think we had 125.3, 125 somewhere right there. Let's just make that 0.3 to see if that takes care of our geometry problems. Let's regenerate that. And there's our new screw. Close this up, regenerate, and make sure we don't see if our geometry check went away. Yep, it's gone. Because we made that screw smaller, now it's not touching there. Right? Because no matter what happens to this surface, remember, that's how we created our datum plane for sketching on that surface. So that should be okay, just like that. So let's go ahead and deactivate this thing. So now we have a legitimate clamp. Now to make it at max, put it back to max, I could just go here on the flexible diameter, edit that, and make that outside its range, like 200. Now had I not done this, had I done this with just using the band geometry driver, it would have failed, because watch what happens when I press enter. It tried to create the geometry without regeneration. It still needs to be regenerated, really. I mean, if you regenerate, it does something there. But it does a pre-regeneration Creo 3, so anyway, it took it back out to max, and I'm going to save what I got. And now we're ready to really tweak it. So we're going to just change colors and get these components in different colors, and tweak some other things, and then maybe we'll work on some, we're going to work on the relations for making the clamp editable to make it into just about any size clamp we need.